we hit 30,000 subscribers. Actually, I think we're at 33,000 subscribers. That's just crazy. It doesn't really sink in, especially since it happened so fast. Thank you guys so much for the immense growth and the support on this channel. If you didn't know, I've been doing this for over 8 years now. I think so, if my math is correct, and I think it is. It's crazy that we've come this far, and I want to thank you all for your support. And yeah, I'm really excited for what lies ahead, and Lord willing, it'll be a lot of fun. But I just want to take this moment to answer a few of your questions. You guys have asked a lot how you actually start blacksmithing, since I've been doing a lot of tips on how to become a better blacksmith. Well, I would like to address how I started blacksmithing, so hopefully it can help you guys in starting your own journey to become a blacksmith.
Nothing's too dangerous if we dare to try. God bless and Godspeed.
When did this start? It goes way back, actually, to when I was 10 years old. I never actually really knew what blacksmithing was. I mean, I was a 10-year-old. Who knows anything at 10 years old? To all my 10-year-olds out there, you're probably smarter than I was. Anyways, yeah, I didn't know anything about blacksmithing. I had only seen it one time, and that was in The Lord of the Rings, when they forge Aragorn's sword all mystic-like. The elves do whatever they ended up doing, and it just reassembles into a beautiful sword. And I thought that was really cool. I didn't know anything else, but my dad was actually offered a one-day course at a blacksmith shop, and he went to my older brother and asked him if he was interested in joining him in blacksmithing. And my brother actually didn't care. And so, as the younger child, my dad then came to me and asked if I would like to join. And I said, "Well, Father, what is blacksmithing?" And he told me, "You remember that scene in Lord of the Rings when they forged the sword?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And he said, "That's exactly what blacksmithing is." And I was hooked. I said, "I will come. I'm going to have so much fun. I'm going to make a sword." I should probably show some photos of the things I made. And when I say I made, it was actually my dad making. I did nothing, really. I got a photo of me standing beside an anvil with a hammer. I think I hit some hot metal a little bit. This is way back. I've now been blacksmithing for 10 years plus. Yeah, so over half my life I've been blacksmithing now. And from there, after doing that one-day course, I begged my father to build me a blacksmith shop in our backyard. He told me, and I remember it clear as day, "Hale, when you're 16 years old, you'll get your own blacksmith shop." And I knew it. I'm like, "Okay, I believe you, Father. When I turn 16, I'm going to get my blacksmith shop and I'm going to become a blacksmith." Well, turns out I'm a little bit of a bugger, and I pestered my father for years and years. This actually leads into answering a question of how to start blacksmithing. I didn't have a forge. I didn't have an anvil. I only had carpentry tools because from ages 5 to 10, I followed in my dad's footsteps. I wanted to be a carpenter. Then I realized blacksmithing is just way cooler and I can make weapons and armor out of metal. So after that, 10 years old, I started hammering away on tin and sheet metal in a campfire on a log with a carpenter's hammer. I will say it wasn't the best time to be a blacksmith because it was just YouTube was just starting and things were, getting pretty crazy with Forged in Fire and Alex Steele, for example. I was hooked. I would like to take this time to say I subscribed to Alex Steele when he was at like 44,000 subscribers. I remember that and I noted it. And then years later, he's now at like 2 million plus. And well, I was there near the beginning. So for those of you who have subscribed before 40,000, thank you so much. That's just pretty crazy. So hopefully, well, Lord willing, we'll see where the channel goes. Anyways, I was hammering away in a campfire with a log and a carpenter's hammer. I would make little sabers that I would call swords. They had hockey tape for handles, and they were beautiful. I wish I kept them. I didn't, because I think my parents threw them out. You know, a 10, 11-year-old shouldn't be playing with steel blades. It's probably smart to take those away from kids. But then when I was 12, I kept bugging my father, and he thought this phase would pass and I would move on to back to wood, he probably thought. But I was hooked on metal. And so I bugged him, and when it was probably August when I was 12 years old. I don't remember what year it was. Actually, yeah, I have no idea. Anyways, I bugged my father, and he told me if I could clear out the woodshed behind our barn, he would turn that into my blacksmith shop. And I was thrilled. And I told myself when I walked back there, this is a mess. There's wood everywhere. It is going to take me 4 years to clean it out. So by the time I turn 16, it'll be empty and I'll be able to build my shop. I was so excited, and I started right that afternoon clearing out the woodshed. Well, for a 12-year-old, time does not really compute. And so I cleaned it out in about 3 hours. That woodshed was completely empty. The next day, my dad and I went to a metal fab shop, and this is where we actually built my first forge. We used an oil drum, just a massive tin thing, cut out the top, put a brake drum in the top, had some pipes coming down, a tweer, which is one straight pipe coming down and another meeting in the middle. Your airflow can come from the side, you cap off the bottom and it shoots out the top, and then when the ash fills up the bottom, you just take the cap off and it pours out. It's a perfect design, and for a beginner blacksmith, this was awesome. So we got myself a forge, and then I needed an anvil. And this is where I say don't follow in my footsteps, because the anvil I got was, well, it was a square tube stuffed with wood and a tapered bar welded onto it for a horn. The horn, by the way, didn't come onto the tube until like a year later. I'm pretty sure this may have been the cause for some of my hearing problems later on, because I was probably the town bell. I would hammer and you could hear it across town kilometers away. It was bad, and about a year later, my dad, after he welded on the horn, realized I just needed a step up. From there, I actually got a really crappy anvil online. But yeah, let's just go back to the forge and anvil I started with. I would definitely recommend something better than a steel tube. If you're getting started yourself, I would honestly just say get a log, drill some holes in like a thick steel plate if you can get one, and just screw that to the log. You'd have much better luck with that than you would with a steel tube stuffed with wood. It just does not work. Yeah, I'm glad I don't have any like footage of that, though I might. If it shows up on screen, then I found it, but I doubt we have any footage of that. I really hope not. But from there, on my journey of becoming a blacksmith, I was blacksmithing in my shop for about 2 more years till I was about 14, when I actually got offered a course at the same place my dad got offered a course. Actually, I shouldn't say offered. My parents bought me a course, beginner's course, to do this at 14. And I went into that course so confident. I mean, I was 14 now. I've been blacksmithing for 2 whole years. I was through the roof. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I can't believe I'm taking this course, because I'm just so excited. But I'm like, I'm going to show everyone up. I've been blacksmithing for 2 whole years before this beginner course. I know what I'm doing. You know all those beginner blacksmithing tips I've been doing on YouTube Shorts? Those were all learned after I took that beginner course. Yeah, I realized I knew like nothing compared to what I thought. There's a lot you can learn from others. I had to humble myself. I mean, I was 14. I'm glad I learned to humble myself at 14 and not now. Because, yeah, I needed to humble myself and realize there are people who are much smarter than I am, who've been blacksmithing for much longer than I have, and know way more. So I ended up learning from the master blacksmith himself and was offered a volunteer job at his company at 14. Of course, I later on moved into an actual full position years later, and continued blacksmithing for years and years. But it was when I was probably 14. I think it was when I was 14. My dad convinced me to start a YouTube channel. This now moves off topic of how to start blacksmithing and gets a little more into my history of YouTube. I started my YouTube channel, I think, in 2017. I think I was 14. I could be way off. I don't know time anymore. Time is a construct that is beyond my understanding. But my dad convinced me to start YouTube because he thought it was really cool to see other YouTubers blacksmithing, and he was like, you know, Hale, you've got something. You're a young kid. You got a shop. Why don't you record some stuff? And honestly, I was like, if my dad supports me, I can do anything. I posted on YouTube here and there for probably like 6 years and gained, I think it was about 100 subscribers. I would have to check the statistics, but it was nothing. I gained like nothing until YouTube Shorts came onto the YouTube platform 2-3 years ago now, and I decided to post a short of me making a Batman shield, which I didn't know how YouTube Shorts worked back then, a couple years ago now, but I got 2,000 views on that video, and I was like blown away. Of course, YouTube Shorts, you can get so many views so much easier than actual content on YouTube, but it was the spike I needed, and I'm like, I'm going to start pumping out videos. I'm going to make projects. I'm going to post them on YouTube Shorts. I'll make some more videos and post them on YouTube. And that's what I did. I kept trying because my goal, I'm like, if I can just hit 1,000 subscribers, I will have succeeded. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, that's actually kind of where I was at until just recently, because once I hit 1,000 subscribers, like a year later, it felt like, I was satisfied. 1,000 people watching a video is crazy. 1,000 people subscribing to your channel is crazy. Anything more than that is just beyond comprehension. If you saw 1,000 people in a room, you would be awestruck. So I was pretty happy with that. But I was like, you know what? I can keep growing. I love making the videos. I actually just fell in love with making videos. And so that's what I did. I just kept making videos of fun things that I would do or cool projects I was working on. And of course, the viewers and subscribers fluctuated along the way. But it wasn't until recently when I decided last year to build a massive anime sword, because I loved anime. I loved making massive stuff. So I made a massive sword, and for some reasons decided to start training with it. That actually helped the channel grow a lot. We ended up reaching 10,000 subscribers, which was crazy, and it was just from me swinging a massive sword around like a lunatic, you could say. I actually got pretty good at it. I'm going to be honest, I really want to get back into it. If people are here and they want to see more of that, just comment that below, because I'd be very easily convinced to get back into doing it because it was so much fun. I swung around Shikai Zangetsu, a 20-pound sword, and then I also swung around a makeshift Dragon Slayer from Berserk that weighed 40 pounds. It was ridiculous. But anyways, from there we hit 10,000 subscribers, and then I coasted again. I started doing some other videos of me building stuff, more Dragon Slayer, Shikai Zangetsu sword training, and we ended up hitting like 12,000 subscribers, which, mind you, blew me away. And then my brother, who I give a ton of credit to for turning down my father way back when so that I became a blacksmith, he gave me the idea and said, you know what you should do? You're Hale the blacksmith. Why don't you teach people how to blacksmith? And he's like, why don't you just post like YouTube shorts just telling people how to blacksmith, giving them tips? And I was like, shoot, I don't know why I never thought of that. That's just hands down such a good idea. Because I love teaching, I love talking, as you guys can tell, and I want more people to get into blacksmithing because it's just so cool. So that's what I did. I started posting these YouTube shorts 2-3 months ago, and all of a sudden the channel went from 12,000 to 15 to all of a sudden 20, and I was like, that's crazy, I'm done, hands down, I'm done. One of my videos hit 1 million views, and I couldn't believe it. I never expected one of my videos to hit 1 million views. It's now at like 3.7 million views. Another 2 of my YouTube shorts hit 1 million views. And I'm just so grateful to you guys, to God himself, for the blessings that have come my way, because now we're at 33,000 subscribers. And I just want to thank you guys so much for that. I am grateful to God, like I just said, because the story I just told is just the bare bones of the tale of my life, and God has played a huge part in it, so I give him all glory and thanks for that. And I hope and pray that he blesses the rest of this channel. I hope we can continue to make some awesome content. I have a lot of plans for the future. It just comes down to having the time to do them. So we'll see. I'm going to buckle down, make more of those blacksmithing tips YouTube shorts because I love making those, and you guys keep asking questions and I love to answer them. And I've also got a lot of cool projects coming this way, your way, our way, coming soon. And I'm really excited for that because I just love making stuff and I love making these videos. So thank you guys so much for all your support. Thank you for 33,000 subscribers. And I just, yeah, can't wait to see what the future holds. So God bless, Godspeed. Thank you for listening to Hail the Blacksmith's Tale. We'll see where it goes. I'll see you all on the next one.